Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It is the process diagram question of IELTS summary exam, IELTS writing task 1, summary exams, first question, and it is the first question of the process diagram. So whenever we need to work on the process diagram, obviously we have to read the question first. So what is the question? Question says that the diagram illustrates the process. The diagram illustrates the process used to manufacture the bricks for the building industry. So now what it says that the diagram illustrates the process that is undertaken by the manufacturing of the bricks, and it is for the building industry. So what we need to do is that we have to work on a summary that we have to write on the information in 150 words. जब भी हम सभी क्वेश्चन को आंसर करते हैं तो हमें एक बात का तो अब पता है, and what that thing is that हम सभी क्वेश्चन को जब आंसर करेंगे तो हम हमेशा अपने सभी क्वेश्चन को आंसर करते हैं 4 पैराग्राफ्स में. The first paragraph is known as the introductory paragraph. The second paragraph is known as the overview paragraph. The third paragraph is known as the explanation paragraph. And the fourth paragraph is known as the explanation paragraph as well. So हम 4 पैराग्राफ में आंसर करेंगे: इंट्रोडक्शन, ओवरव्यू, एक्सप्लेनेशन एंड एक्सप्लेनेशन. अच्छा, जब आएगा प्रोसेस डायग्राम का क्वेश्चन, आई एम स्पेसिफिकली फोकसिंग ऑन द पाकिस्तानी स्टूडेंट फर्स्ट. जब भी आएगा प्रोसेस डायग्राम का क्वेश्चन, सबसे पहले स्टेजेस आइडेंटिफाई करो. नाउ आई एम कन्वर्टिंग फ्रॉम फॉरेनर स्टूडेंट्स. First of all, in the process diagram question, you have to identify and you have to focus and you have to highlight, first of all, the number of stages which are demonstrated or which are presented in the picture. The first thing that we have to do in exam is that we will find out at how many stages are there. So now in this question, if we see, here we see the first stage. We will write 1. It is now see, it is the second stage, number 2. If you see this one, it is the third stage, number 3. If you see this one, it is the fourth stage. If you see this one, it is fifth stage. If you see this one, it is the sixth stage. And if you see this one, it is the 7th stage as an whole. So what is the first step that we need to do? First of all, we need to identify the total number of stages given in the question. Once the stages are identified, then we will name the stages. If we will not name the stages, we would not be able to name the stages in the overview, where we have to write that in general, how many steps are involved into the process of bricks manufacturing. So in the process diagram question, the first thing is that you should identify the stages, and number 2, you should name the stages. So now I'm going to name them. I'm going to name the stages now. So now see the first stage here, where a digging machine is doing something. We name this stage as digging. Number 2, here you see that a roller is sending the sand or the mud to the next section for raw bricks making. So we name this stage as rolling. The third stage here, bricks are being made here in the shape of the brick. We may name it designing, or we may name it as shaping stage, designing stage, whatever you want to give the name. Number 4, a drying oven is there. So we can name this stage as drying stage. We can name this stage as kiln is here. So bricks are being heated and then being cooled. So we may name it heating and cooling stage. So now next one is packaging. You see here the packaging is going on. We can name the stage as packaging. We can name this stage as delivery. So now what was step number 1? Step number 1 was that we have identified the stages, and step number 2 is that we have named the stages. पहला स्टेप क्या था? स्टेजेस को आइडेंटिफाई करो, जो हमने की टोटल 7 है, और फिर हमने उसके बाद उन स्टेजेस को नाम दे दी. The third step is that we should take in mind that the process diagram contains some specific words which should not be skipped by us during exam. For an example, here is our digger, here is the word clay. We have to explain this process. Then we have to connect this process with the second stage. When we will connect this process with the second stage, see, here is a metal grid. यहाँ पे एक metal grid है, which is crushing the mud into small particles. ये small particles हैं. We have to mention that. But ये small particles बन किसके रहे हैं? बड़े बड़े टुकड़े हैं mud के ऊपर. इंग्लिश में इनको क्या कहते हैं? Chunks. We name the big pieces of the mud as chunks. It is a condition word that explains a specific scenario. So we'll use the word chunks. Okay. And then we will connect this rolling with designing. We will tell examiner that when we will send the mud to the designing stage, sand and water will be added thereinto. Once we reach to the designing stage here, the bricks are being made by the use of wire cutter, or here is the word or. Or means that opposite to this one. Wire cutter or mold. When there is a word or between two options, that means that examiner wants us to listen a word or wants us to write a word either. हमें वो जब और का वर्ड दे रहा है दो चीजों के दरम्यान में, इसका मतलब वो वर्ड हमसे सुनना चाह रहा है either this one or that one. Okay. Then we have to go for the next stage. It is drying, and we have to mention for 24 to 48 hours. Then heating and kiln, and we will mention the temperatures given on the bottom. And then cooling, we have to mention 48 to 72 hours. Then packaging, and packaging. Whenever we go for packaging, a specific word we use that is known as stacking. Stacking. S-T-A-C-K-I-N-G. Stacking. जोड़ना चीजों को. Okay. A specific word stacking must be used over there. And delivery. The good word here will be the end users or the customers. Okay. It is a very specific word that is used for the sake of delivery. So what we did in the process diagram, क्या कर रहे हैं जी आप? सबसे पहले we have identified the stages, then we have named the stages, then we have identified the specific word that we need to include in the answer. And now we are going to write the answer. And when we are going to write the answer, we will answer in the four sentences. In the four paragraphs. Number one, the first paragraph will be the introduction, second overview, third one will be the explanation one, and fourth one will be the explanation two. Remember, in explanation one means paragraph number 3, we will explain up till 4 stages, and then we will explain last 3 stages in the last paragraph. So what I mean to say after introduction, after the overview, when we talk about the 2 paragraphs of explanation, half of the picture up to 4 stages we will explain in paragraph number 3, and half of the diagram we will explain in paragraph number 4. So 4 and 3 will be a good symmetry. So now, in answer, we are going to write the introduction first. And how we will write the introduction, I told you people already that we will write the answer by paraphrasing method. By the help of paraphrasing method. Paraphrasing method means rewording method. हम rewording method से लिखेंगे अपना introduction. और कैसे लिखेंगे? जो question का पहला sentence है, उसको हम reword करेंगे. कैसे reword करेंगे? फिर सुन लीजिए. Just look into this again so that you people could not in fact miss anything out of me, and just look into this one. So now it is the first sentence given in the picture. The diagram illustrates. Diagram, we will use the word, despite of diagram, we will use the word the flow chart. Illustrates, demonstrates, process, procedure, used, adopted by, manufacture, making, bricks will remain mixed, building, industry, construction sector. We will reword the first sentence of the picture and we will get our introduction. How we'll get it? Just look into it. कैसे करना जी देखिएगा जरा से. बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम. The flow chart the flow chart demonstrates. We will write the whole answer in the present tense. What is the reason? Because the process diagram picture in front of us is not containing any previous year. when there is no previous year, what we need to do is that we should answer in all the present tense only. We should not use on the future tense. We should not use any past tense. So make the life easier. The flow chart demonstrates the procedure adopted by the bricks manufacturers for construction sector. And that's all. There is no need to get yourself extraordinary bothered. Do not bother yourself extraordinary, and do not get worried that God forbid the lesser words are there in the introduction. मत डरेंगे introduction में थोड़े words हैं. If you will follow what I'm saying, if you will follow the formula, we will cross 200 marks despite of 150. 150 word minimum लिखने हम 200 cross करेंगे इंशाल्लाह, बिल्कुल फिक्र ना. So now we are going for the overview now. You know that whenever we start the overview, we start with the word overall. Overall. Comma. 7. Distinct means unique. Stages are involved in bricks making, including. So now, what we will write in the overview whenever we talk about the process diagram, what we will write in the process diagram when we will use this. In process diagram, we will just write the number of stages involved into the process in the overview. Do not explain any stage. Just mention the stages which are given in total. Do not explain the stages at all. Okay. So now, overall 7 distinct stages are involved in bricks making, including digging, comma, rolling, comma, designing, comma, drying, comma, heating and cooling, with finally, comma, heating and cooling, comma, packaging, with finally the delivery to the clients. Full stop. And that's all from the overview. Overall 7 distinct stages are involved into bricks making, including digging, rolling, designing, drying, heating and cooling, packaging, with finally the delivery to the end user. I've used the word with here because I have already used and here between heating and cooling. So 2 ands looks very awkward. Do and bade bure lagte hain syntax mein. Go ahead. So now we are writing the explanation. Now para number 3, and it will contain the explanation of first 4 stages. And you know this. Whenever we start this paragraph, we start with a word to initiate with or to incept with. To initiate with. To initiate with digging, comma, a digger extracts the mud. Here is a word written clay. I'm not using his word. I'm using mud. If I would be required to use the word mud for the second time, I will use the word clay. पहली दफा मैं उसका word use नहीं करें. A digger extract the mud from the surface of the earth. And now I'm going to connect this first stage with the second one and places the clay and places this on a metal grid. and places this on a material. It is what sentence number 1 is over, and we have connected. We have connected the. Okay, so we have connected the first stage with the second. So now we are entering into stage number 2. What is that better word? Enrolling, comma, the metal grid crushes. Piece dena. Crushes the big chunks of the sand into smaller particles, and shifts the raw material. Now I'm connecting rolling stage with designing, and shifts the raw material to the designing stage after mixing. See here, sand and water are given. After mixing sand and water, they are into full stop. So now what we did, we have explained the rolling stage by connecting, digging with the rolling, and then by connecting rolling with the design stage. And now working on design. In designing, comma, the material is converted into a shape of brick, or into shape of bricks, whatever you want to do, is converted into shape of bricks either by the use of a wire cutter, that is written here. The wire cutter word is written here. Mold is here. Or with the support of a pre-designed mold, full stop. Pre-designed mold, full stop. Okay. So now what we did, we have converted the raw material into the brick. This brick will be known as the raw brick. Okay. Full stop. And now I'm going to connect stage number 3 with stage number 4. What is that? That is drawing. What we need to draw? The moisture. And this is a condition word now. We will mention here the word moisture so that examiner could know that we know that what the water inside the bricks is normally known that we need to draw. क्या कहते हैं उस पानी को जो ब्रिक के अंदर होता है जिसे हमें पुश करना है? एग्जामिनर को पता लगेगा जब हम वर्ड यूज करेंगे मॉइस्चर. You will be known to this thing. हमें ये वर्ड आता था. Okay. The raw bricks are shifted to a drying oven in drying stage, comma, to dry their moisture, in 1 to 2 days, full stop. 24 to 48 hours means 1 to 2 days, full stop. And we have explained 4 stages up till now. The first paragraph, the third paragraph means the first paragraph of explanation. Third paragraph means the first paragraph of explanation. The first paragraph of explanation will be the third paragraph of the summary. We have completed that. Now we are going to work on the last and the fourth paragraph, and we will cover the last 3 stages in this paragraph. Move ahead. The dry bricks are transferred to a moderate temperature kiln where they are first heated at about 200 degrees centigrade to 980 degrees centigrades, and then on a high temperature of nearly 870 degrees centigrades to 1300 degrees centigrades. Full stop. Now the raw bricks have become hard. The hard bricks, are placed into a cooling chamber for 48 to 72 hours to regulate the temperature, before packing. Full stop. In packaging, the finished bricks or ready bricks are stacked in a proper manner, and then they are delivered to their end users by the help of a truck, trawler, or lorry, any word we can use. Okay. So in this way, what we did, we have completed a summary of the process diagram question in which 7 stages were identified by us. So I'm going to reduce the font a little so that we could find out that how many words we have written, and then how many words we have written in the total in this specific question. So now, the introduction that we have written, it was of almost 15 words. The overview that we have written, it was of 25 words just. So now, third one is the first paragraph of explanation. The third para, we have written 100 words. The same thing that I told you on day 1 when I started subject. If somebody is not having the lecture, go to the YouTube or the Google and type that how to write IELTS writing task 1 summary by Zeeshan, and you will get the whole bifurcation of the 4 paragraphs along with the time we need to spend on, along with the words there will be, along with the formulas of writing. So now 100 and then 80 is in the second paragraph. I told you in that class. If we will follow the formula, inshallah, the explanation paragraph 1 means the para 3 will contain 100 and para 4 will contain about 80 words. Inshallah. So now, if we now calculate the total number of words that we have written, look, it is 15 plus 25 plus 100 plus 80, and in total, this makes 220 words. And I told you, inshallah, when we will write the summary, this will be at somewhat 220 to 25 words. It was my day when I started this course 7 days back. So now, it is the right way of handling a process diagram question. I repeat again. The first thing is that identify the stages. The second thing is name the stages. The third thing is find out the words that you need to include in your details. Number 4, after introduction by paraphrasing, write your overview, and in overview, just mention the number of stages with commas. In explanation, paragraph number 3 means explanation 1, explain half of the picture. In paragraph number 4, explain rest of the half picture. But in explanation, always remember to connect one stage with the second stage and do not avoid the condition words. For an example, in drying oven, moisture is very conditioned, very much in word that we need to use. Heating and cooling chamber, hard bricks would be a very appropriate word. In designing stage, raw bricks would be a very, very appropriate word. In rolling stage, big chunks would be a very appropriate stage. In digging, the extraction would be a very appropriate word. In packaging, stacking would be a very appropriate word. To kindly consider the certain condition words which we require to use in a specific condition. We should use that to express examiner that we have a strong lexical resource here. You people are more than welcome to ask me if there is any question. कोई सवाल है तो मेरे को पूछो जी. And then this will be the time for test for your own question. If there is any question, I would be very, very happy to answer, and I would love answering the question as well. The question that I have written for you today, I will not send its paper. I will send a picture so that your question and answer should be with you side by side for your self-reading after the class. I would be happy to answer if there is any question. You people are welcome to ask me the questions.